Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. I don't know if it's just me, but I think I discovered something. It's not like I discovered it, but my attention has been turned to it somehow after realizing something. So now, in modern physics, there's this thing that we know, like you cannot absolutely touch something. Okay, so when you try to touch something, there is always going to be a distance between your hand and that thing. And it's not just hand, it's anything. No two things can touch. That's the law. No two things can touch each other. There has to be a distance that separates them. Okay? So that's the law. Like even like to the most fundamental level, no two things touch. No two particles really touch. Okay? Now, so from learning this, and I saw like, okay, what's really going on is that between that distance, so what is between when I said no two things can touch? What is between those two objects is actually a force. There's a force, either from their charges, maybe this one is negative and positive or whatever, that is in between those two hands. So there's a force that keeps them apart. It's not like they cannot touch just because of some. No, there's actually a force there that keeps them apart. So I now thought like, okay, if we apply this, what does that actually mean? What does it mean? Okay, if you're someone that is like into physics and stuff, if you're not someone into physics or you don't want to think about nature or things like that, maybe you should not listen to this. But if you're someone that actually wants to examine stuff, then you can come along. Okay, so the point is that you cannot touch anything. That's what would be the radical conclusion. You cannot touch anything, whether you're sitting down, whether you're standing up, even the ground, you're not touching it. There's always going to be a distance between your leg and the ground. And this can be shown, okay? So I now thought like, what are we really doing? There's something actually profound there, is that there's a force that stands between us and every single thing. And I'm not even going to talk about even your own body makeup, that there actually forces holding things together, or keeping things separate in a way. So if there are forces that stands between us and every single thing we attempt to touch or come close to, therefore, so there's even like, why can't you put your hand inside a wall? Why can't you walk through a wall? If you ask the physicists, they will tell you like it's some kind of magnetic force that stands between you and the wall. If not, you will be able to walk through the wall. Okay, if that is true and all of this, and this can actually be shown to me, like it can be shown that you cannot actually touch anything. So when you try it, so when let's say you want to tie a shoe or you want to do anything, you cannot actually touch it. So what is that force? That's the whole point. What is that force? They tell us it's some kind of force, energy. See, that force, energy, or whatever you want to call it, is immaterial. Okay, it's immaterial. You cannot. It's not something like a matter. It's not matter. Okay, maybe your own body is matter, but the force or the energy that keeps two things separate is no matter. You're not in control of it. It's just there, just like that. It's just there, and it is because of that you're not able to do work. Because of those forces, you are not able to do work. So when you grab something, it's because of the force between your hand and that thing that causes that thing to be lifted. Do you understand? So the closer you are, the more the force. Okay, so if you try to lift it from like imagine you're trying to do this superhero stuff and push I don't know if you watch this anime Rasengan, like the Naruto stuff. You try to push hair. When you try to do that from afar, maybe it will not work. But if you come close to someone, close enough, and you push them, you think you are the one that pushed him, but actually there's a force there's always that distance there. So in a way, that distance is still there. So when you push them, it's not you that really push them. you are the one because of your intention, but the force is the one that is actually doing the moving and stuff. Okay, but there's the law of nature is like kind of like a constant, so you wouldn't see any change in it most of the time. It's kind of constant, but it's there. It is there, and if you ask the physicists, they will actually show you. Okay, so this means that because we are TS, of course, that power, that energy, we ascribe it to God. God is the one that is in charge. God is the one that is actually there. He's actually the one that has providence over all of this, the power. I can will to do something, but that power is not coming from me. It's coming from God in reality. Nothing can happen without God. That's the conclusion that you come to. Okay, and this is actually close to I think the Asharite view. The Asharites, their view about causation and things like that. I think you can actually explain it with some of this. But the point I'm just showing you is that it seems that we don't actually have any power. That power that we ascribe to ourselves is actually the distance between two objects. So imagine you are inside a pool and you use your hand to I don't know if you guys play like this. You use your hand to push the water in a kind of wavy motion. You push the water. So maybe you are fighting with your friend and you push that water in that way. That thing you're doing, imagine you see if someone pushes it from a very far distance, you'll be like, that's magic. You'll be like, that is amazing. How can you do that? Imagine from far I'm able to control water and push it to somebody else without touching the water. Wouldn't you say that is amazing? But that's exactly what you're doing. When you push the water, even though you're coming closer, you're just closer than the guy that is doing quote unquote is a superhero pushing water. You are doing the same thing. You're not touching the water too. So you're actually a superhero. Funny, I'm just joking. But the point is that it seems that power is not us. We don't have that power. That energy is immaterial. We are not. All we have is will. We want to do something. Whether that thing is going to be done is going to be dependent on the forces that we are not in charge of. So that's how I just interpret this. So in a way, studying nature and studying physics and studying these things might actually give you an insight, a deeper insight into some of these phenomena that you take for granted. So anyway, if you guys have if you think this is not possible, maybe you should. I will actually want to see what you think in the comment section. Do you think you can touch something? Do you think you can? Don't give me this kind of realist vibe and say, that's what I think I touch. Prove it, okay? Prove it, okay? So anyway, this is just an interesting thought. Let me see what you guys think in the comment section. See you guys later. Wassalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.